Hello everyone, I'm Steffi. I'm going to do an English introduction because I know we have some English speakers amongst us, so I hope that's okay with everyone. If you don't understand English, shout and I'll try. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors for pizza, drinks and location, TNG, Gerhard and T1, so can we give them a big hand? It's actually great that you all came out. I always had my doubts about Unterföhring being at the end of the world, but I think it's a good choice, so maybe we should do this more often out here. We've had a little chat amongst our group of organizers that it would be nice to actually have just small moments of design thinking at the beginning of each design thinking meetup, because there's always new people coming and everyone's saying, okay, so what is this design thinking, what it's all about, what tools can we use. So the idea is that I'm going to do a little moment of Steffi, just a few minutes in the beginning. We're going to go through each of the design thinking phases throughout all the next meetups. Obviously, if you start, you want to know what's happening in the next phases, so please come. So, just to give you a very quick overview, what is design thinking? Most of you probably have heard of it. Some of you might have used it already, or parts of it, or used it for quite some time, but actually weren't aware that you are using design thinking. We normally divide it up into 3 categories. First of all, it's a toolbox. Design thinking provides you with a whole bunch of amazing tools which you can use throughout your process, throughout your product process, at any stage. And you can adapt them, you can change them, you can mix them with other methodologies, and they're just wonderful. And it's always growing, so if you do have new tools which you've discovered or came up with or adapted, it would be great if you could share them also with the group. Maybe you experience how things worked. Then it's process. It's a systematic way of starting with defining the problem space, exploring different problems, going really wide, going really narrow, and then creating solutions for those problems. People also draw these processes in different ways. Sometimes there are 6 steps, sometimes there are 5 steps, sometimes it's sort of a circle, or it's a squiggly line which ends up with this nice arrow. So don't get confused by it. You can show it in many different ways, but basically it's all about finding the right problem for the right user and creating the solutions for it. And thirdly, which is actually the foundation of design thinking, it's a mindset, it's a culture, it's a way of behavior, it's a way of approaching things. And I think that's the most important thing, because if you do want to change things in your company or in the way of working, you have to start really with yourself and the way you approach things, the way you question things, the way you talk to people, just little steps. So I've talked way too much already. This is just the beginning, because next time I won't repeat this. So this is the process the Design Thinking School in Potsdam is using, the HPI. It's 6 phases. The first one is the problem space, where you really go wide and you bring it together. The second 3 are the solution space. Today we're just going to focus on the very first one, the understand. And if you continue coming to the meetups, you might actually find out about the magic ideation phase as well. Understand. Has anyone got an idea what this means in the design thinking process? You are free to speak, if not, I will.
Understand the problem, understand the needs.
Exactly.
Wishes.
Basically, it's unpacking, you could say it. You come together as a team, you want to solve a particular problem, you assemble your team, and you lay out everything on the table that you already know about the problem. You also think, what kind of challenge do we have? What kind of job do we have to do? What's the understanding within the team about it? Do we have different experts in the team who might actually know about this? In German we also say zum Sofortexperten werden, so immediately become an expert in this area without actually spending lots of time and lots of money in going out and doing user research. You can do desk research, you can look at how other companies are doing it. So very quickly understanding the situation you're at. Also, one important thing, often you get a brief from a client or from a different department. You might also want to question that because it might not actually be the brief which is actually written in the right way. So you can ask, why do we have to do it this way? What's the core, what's the essence of this brief? Maybe we have to reformulate it, maybe it's a different way of saying it. So that's all happening in the understand phase, coming together as a team, creating an understanding, also creating commitment in the team for this project. I'd like to introduce you one small little tool, which we're going to do, and then I'm going to shut up and I'll hand over to Marcus. Prepare yourself. It's called Caretting. The word actually comes from long time ago, from the word charret in French. Did I spell charret? I'm a French speaker here. Which basically means a wooden cart in French. And it comes from the art students who used to live outside of Paris. When on the way to university, they had to finish their artwork and their architecture work in the back of one of those wooden carts, which basically mean, showing your work in public. And the design thinking community has adapted this for basically solving problems in public within the team. So we're going to do a very quick exercise, which is quite useful in the understand phase, just to get everyone on the same page from the team, quickly writing down who are the users, which might be related to our challenge or our design, Then we pick one, we know which one is the most important user group we'd like to focus on. What are the potential problems they have? Also saying, these problems, these are all assumptions. We don't actually know if they're real problems. And later on in the research phase, we can then validate those assumptions. And then for these problems, we can quickly write down some solutions. This is a very quick exercise. You can do this on your own, you can do this with a team, but basically just writing down a list of users, brainstorming who is also involved in this, picking the best one you'd like to focus on, creating some problems, and then finding solutions. So we have paper here. I'd like you to team up with the person next to you. If you could spread some papers and pens. We just need one bit of paper for 2 people, and then just pass it on
Braucht noch jemand Stifte?
So, your brief is, how might we create a better meetup experience? Imagine your client comes to you and say, I would like to have this problem solved. Come up with a good solution. You come together as a team for the first time. Meetups we all know, we've all been to them, you're all here. Now the first task, brainstorm all the possible user groups related to meetups. You have 1 minute. We have our little friend, the time timer. Off you go. Okay, now pick the most exciting user groups for you. Pick one, and then brainstorm potential problems or needs of that user group. 1 minute again. And brainstorm a few solutions for that. Biggest problems. Yes.
Okay, we have like agile coaches, developers, and so on, and we picked entrepreneurs and solved problems like getting feedback, building products nobody wants, and we picked find people, so like developers, and we said, okay, solution could be like startup presentation, pitching, speed dating, or nameplates, organizing meetup.
Anyone else want to share? Yes?
Yeah, the newcomers and professional people, we chose them. And then we said that we focus on the vision, what is it? They need to understand it and how to use it. So we said that part of the solution would be like an introduction, what you did, showing examples, to do practice, to do something like a mini project, a very quick one, to get a feedback and to use process of iteration, also to experience that.
Yeah.
So we had a variety of users. We picked the product managers because we love them best. And their needs were mainly to educate themselves, get some new methodologies that they could use on a daily basis, networking, new ideas, and definitely some help in finding new ideas or in how to get better. We picked methodology, and we had speed dating as well. So you overheard us with experts. We had hands-on experience on the evening, practical trials, and working through use cases.
So, in 3 minutes, you very quickly just wrote down user groups, brainstorm the solution, brainstorm problems, and potential solutions. When you do a design thinking project, you usually have already a lot of solutions in your head if you are familiar with the project or with the product problem. So it's quite a good idea to, in the beginning, get those solutions on paper. So then they're noted somewhere, they're put down, and you can think of new ideas and better ideas maybe. So this is just a very quick, a nice tool which you can apply at any time, anywhere with your project. So it would be interesting to see some feedback if you actually are going to use it in your daily work, and if you'd like to share the experience with it next time, maybe in detail. And now I'd like to hand over to Markus, because I'm done with my little moments of Steffi, and I'll let you introduce yourself. And
Yeah, give me a minute to just fix the technical stuff. And so maybe you can sing a song.
Yeah.
Well, we just thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.